Teachers, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a rubric for an assignment or discussion in your Canvas course. This is a great way to create the expectations for an assignment or a discussion for your students so that they know exactly what you expect them to do, and it also gives you a great tool to assess those assignments as well. Go ahead and go to the course that you want to create the assignment or discussion. We're going to start off by doing this in an assignment. And you would just go to create an assignment. And let's say that the assignment is for the students to write a lab report. So I'm just going to call it lab report. I'm going to come down here and let's just say that I linked in a Google Doc. Obviously I didn't, but if I had a URL for a Google Doc, I'd come up here and I'd link it in here, and that's how they'd get their lab report document. All right, come down here and I give it a certain amount of points. Let's say 50 points. I say online submission, file upload, I want it back as a Google Doc. I come down here, assign it to everyone, give it a due date, and then I can make these available from and to. And if you're still confused about these, watch the assignment video on BA Fusion, and that will help you figure out those. Once you do this, go ahead and just click save or save and publish. Save and publish is going to make it viewable by your students. I just hit save so I can keep working on it before they see it. And now when you get to this screen, you'll see a little button at the bottom left that says add rubric. So what you can do is you can click here and you can create a rubric. You can give it a title. Let's say that this rubric is the rubric you want to use for every lab report you give. So you would just come in here and you would type lab report. So that way later you could just go to find rubric and use the same rubric every time for your lab reports. So it says description of criterion. So you can just click in here, and let's say that you type wrote 3 sentences in the introduction. Okay, so now if I'm a student, I know that in my introduction, the expectation is 3 sentences. And then this is the rating. So here I could say 3 sentences, and then I can put down here 1 sentence, and all we have to do is open this up here, and we could say this would be where 2 sentences is going. And then we can even open it up again, and obviously right here this should have been 1 sentence, and then this one should have been 0. And you'll see that it'll separate all the criteria to the point value. So 1 sentence is worth 2, 2 is worth 3, and 3 is worth 5. We can come over here and change this as well to where it's worth 10, and it'll separate those points for you. Then you would just come over here and you'd say add criteria, and then you give a new one. Maybe it's that in their data that they showed at least 3 examples or takings of the data from their experiment. And then you would have their criteria there, and then the ratings would go right here with the point value. You can exit any of these off at any time. You can create as many as you want, and you can separate these. Now, just because I separated this into 4 doesn't mean I have to do it here. It'll do whatever I want it to. Now when you're grading this, it's great because when you're grading this, you'll just see this and you'll be able to actually click into these boxes and it will assess the score for you. So on the bottom you have a couple suggestions. The one that I would suggest using is use this rubric for assignment grading. That way it will show up in the speed grader and you can actually click through it and grade. Alright, so that's how you create a rubric. And then if once I said create a rubric, it would attach it to that assignment and the students would be able to see the expectation for their assignment. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And in this course, there's already a lab with a rubric created. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So we're going to scroll down here to the biohomeostasis lab. And as you can see, we have the assignment right here. It has all the dates and when we're doing things, report due by a certain time, and so on and so forth. You can see it's all listed there of what's expected for them. They have their data sheet linked in and everything. Alright, it's worth 50 points. Now as we come down through here, you'll see we have a criteria, and then we have a point value for the criteria. And as you can see, all these points here add up to the 50 points that the assignment total requires. So watch this. I go over here to Speed Grader. I'll see I have a student's lab, and I have a button over on the right that says View Rubric. And I can click on this, and I can go through here and grade it by a click of a button. And as I'm clicking through here, I'm reading through this and clicking through here on their grades. And then when you're done, you just hit the Save button at the bottom, and you'll see it graded it right from the rubric, 32 out of 50, and you would be done. And now you'd go into the next students and you grade them through the rubric as well. So it's a great tool to use to grade students' work, especially written work. Now just for an example too, if we come over here to assignments and we create a new assignment, you also have an option once creating that assignment to find a rubric. So if we come down here and save, you'll see under Add Rubric at the right side, you'll see Find Rubric. And now look, here's the lab rubric. So if I wanted to use this for this lab report, I could just come down here and say use this rubric. And you'll see it populates it right there for me. So once you create a rubric that can be used on multiple assignments, it's very easy to use it over and over again. Now, you can use rubrics in discussions as well. So click on discussions, and you just say add discussion. Just say it's over mitosis. Discuss the phases of mitosis. And we would say this is important. You have to make it a graded discussion for you to be able to get a rubric. And you set all these up just as normal. Assign it, do all that, and then click save or save and publish if you want the kids to see it already. And then up here at the top right, you'll see a gear and it says add rubric. And so you can create a rubric here or find it here and use the same tools as you were shown before. Also, please feel free to share rubrics amongst colleagues. This is great to share resources through Commons. You can even find rubrics that others have created outside of Broken Arrow Public Schools, and you can edit them and use them as your own. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.